Hey guys, I've been reading the LG washer manual so you don't have to explain you the symbols that so many of you ask about. So let's get right into it. So the first one you can see on the screen here. And would you believe this one is not actually in the manual? As far as I can understand from looking around, it is simply that there is a wash cycle ongoing. So it's in the wash cycle part of whichever cycle you choose. Crazy, eh? They don't even put the first one in the manual. So the next one is then that it's in a rinse. So when you see that t-shirt with just almost a straight line, but a little bit of a wave, that is that it's going through the rinse cycle. Nothing particularly special. It just really shows you progress, as most of these at the top do. The next one shows it's going through the spin cycle, which you'll obviously know by the sound. And you can set that by pressing the spin options on the right over here. So when you're pressing those, you can choose the spin speed. Again, this only lights up when it's actually going through the spin cycle, but pressing the buttons over in the sort of middle right then allows you to choose the speed of the spin or to turn it off completely with no. And you'll see your choice illuminated. The next one again is not in the manual, would you believe, for this machine, because I've got the machine you see here and it's not in the manual I have for this exact machine. So it is an easy iron option, I believe, but it's not very clear because if you notice, it's actually down here as well. It's the same symbol, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, on the drying cycle, as we'll come to in a minute, that is easy care. I'll explain what that means for drying cycles in just a moment. Remember, if you see anything of interest in this video, there's links down below, so check those out to support the channel. Without further ado, let's get right into it. If you do want to adjust the dry cycle, turn it on without touching the dial, just press dry. It's a bit confusing because again that light on the dial is still lit up, and then you've got your dry options and I can press it, it'll be 30, etc. So this first drying cycle you'll see with the t-shirt with the sort of wavy lines icon is actually for cottons, and this should reduce drying time and energy usage, apparently, according to the manual. It says it's for cotton or linen fabrics, things like cotton towels, t-shirts and linen laundries is what it says exactly. And the maximum weight for this one is as per the maximum weight for any drying load on your washing machine. Just be aware, if you've got, say, an 8 kilo washer dryer like I had, it actually says there's a split 8 kilo max washing cycle, 5 kilo max drying cycle. So you've got to be careful if you're filling that load anyway. You almost always have to reduce it. Next one. The iron symbol is actually for easy iron, which it leaves the clothes slightly wet when you finish. And it says again, this one's for cotton or linen. But it means because they're not totally dry, then you can iron them into shape. So if you've got items you want to iron, choose this one. But if not, then the one before is probably better for you. Okay, next up, you can see, if you look closely, it's quite hard to see in real life, these ones, they're so small, but there's a thermometer and a t-shirt. That's actually for a low temperature drying cycle. It reduces the damage to your clothes, which is quite scary because then that says others damage your clothes. Anyway, this is the manual, remember? And it's for easy care textiles, synthetics, and anything that's suitable for the easy care mix programs on the wash cycle. But this one has a maximum load on the 8 kilo, 5 kilo dryer split of 3 kilos. So it's just over half the max drying load. Again, remember, way less than the maximum washing load. Low temperature drying. Will it get your clothes dry? I'm not sure. I didn't really test all of these when I had this machine. I just used whichever one came. Next up, again, this one's really quite hard to see in real life, but it's the t-shirt icon with this tiny, tiny E symbol. Now that is normal eco. And it just says in the manual for energy dry program. That's it. Don't know what that means because the normal cycle is supposed to reduce the drying time and energy usage. What the difference is, I could not tell you. Maybe it would use less power than the other one. It almost looks a bit pointless at this juncture, but anyway. Full cycle of drying options. If I leave it and just press play, it will then calculate how long it thinks it needs. So that's the one we use all the time. Now, the tag on symbol you can probably see has got a smartphone, but if you're going to use the SmartThink app with this, all that really allows you to do is download a couple of extra cycles. Now the default download cycle, at least when I had this, was the rinse and spin cycle. I know it doesn't come with a rinse and spin built in, so you've got to download it, which is a bit crazy, isn't it? But you really want to take your phone cover off before you do this, as you can see here. take the phone cover off, turn on NFC or near field connection, tap your phone against that symbol, and then you can, when you've got the app installed, you can start to see the options there. I won't go into it in detail here, but you can download Rinse and Spin. It's got things like Tub Clean Manager, which sounds a load of fun, but it really tells you how many washes until you need to run the tub clean cycle, and a couple of others. Now, at the end of the drying options, you'll also see this, which isn't a drying option because it's not in that rectangle. This is actually the add item option, and you can add items at a certain point by pressing the button here, and then when the machine's already started. So it's a really handy one, but I think it only comes on when it's possible to do it. Okay, so if you break out of a cycle, only at certain points, mind, because if it's full of water, you can't open the drum. But if you've got the option, you have to press the add item thing, and I think this will show up. Again, I sold this machine a few years ago, but people have been asking me to do this video, so apologies if I get any of this slightly wrong. Just correct me in the comments, and we'll have that conversation. Okay, so next up, let's have a look at these symbols down here. And on this row, we start off with the locked icon. This just means your machine is locked. Now, like most machines, it will lock automatically when you start a cycle, and when you stop, I think it takes about 90 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong again. They've all got a timer, be it 30, 60, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, but it'll stay lit up when you can't open the machine. You have to wait for this to go off to be able to open it, and you'll hear the click as well, which is quite loud, but this means your machine is locked. Next up is the pre-wash cycle. Now, you can add this after you select your washing cycle. Then you can press the pre-wash button down here, which is actually quite close to it. Again, I think this will also light up when it's actually going through that phase. Next up is the tub clean symbol. Now, you'll need to run this, I think it's every 30 cycles. It will come on, and actually in the timer, you'll see it say TCL, means tub clean. And to do that, again, you can just press underneath it. You see the pre-wash button, but there's the little asterisk star. You need to long press that for 3 seconds or more to activate the tub clean. Don't put any clothes in, and always run that. It will help your machine massively. You need to do it to make sure your machine keeps working properly. Next to that is the rinse plus part of the cycle, which you can add as an extra. And again, just down to the bottom right, you can see the rinse plus button. So after you select your cycle, press that. Again, that should light up when you select it, and it should also show when it's doing that part of the cycle. Then the little ironing symbol is a crease care option. This option is to prevent creases in your finished clothes, and you can do it again just like the others here. Select the cycle you want, and then down below it on the rinse plus button, crease care is an optional extra that you can select by long pressing 3 seconds, just like the others with the star or the asterisk, and that will again come on. And you can select this by long pressing the rinse plus button, as you can see here. Crease care is the star, just like the tub clean, and the child lock next to it. Long press, 3 seconds, it'll come on. And it's not technically a symbol, but the delay end has the added option of the child lock, which you can again long press, and that will then lock down your machine for your children. It's not perfect, they can still turn it off, but it means they can't change the cycle in theory. Check out my other videos on this washer dryer here. I've also got links down below if you are interested in washer dryers like this. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.